Hey, this is Keith. What's up? So I'm introducing this video because I've been spending quite a bit of time with Truth, where he's living now, and doing some videos and some of the equipment that I've been using, or just the methods that I've been using, which is a cell phone in my guerrilla style, have not really produced the best results on this video. But this video is super important. It's about vegan lifestyle, longevity, and success and sustainability on the vegan diet, which is an important topic because being vegan for 5 years, who cares? Doesn't say anything. Being vegan for 10 years, especially if you're 20, doesn't mean anything. But being vegan from myself, I've been vegan since age 13, or vegetarian since 13, raw vegan since 22. A little bit of messing around here and there, but for the most part, that's been my lifestyle. So some really important information here. And again, I'm just sort of saying this is informational. It's not a piece of art. Some of the audio's loud enough, but a little bit glitchy. But again, I want to emphasize the importance of the information that's coming your way. And now I present me at Truth Calkins, probably giving one of the greatest lectures ever on veganism and long-term vegan lifestyle. All right, peace out.
All right, Truth. So we're going to discuss this vegan community, vegan fails going on in the YouTube community. So give me a second to set this up. So basically the vegan community has been dominated by a high carb thinking, with people like Durian Writer saying carb the fuck up, and Happy Healthy Vegan saying keep it carbed. And I personally, like I said, I'm going to set this up. I personally think like getting out of the standard American diet and dealing with the emotions. Perhaps a carb diet is good, but you need to move very quickly out of it because it's nutrient deficient, and it's all the comfort food are carbs. But I can tell you a lot of things that these people aren't doing. They're very anti-superfood. They're very anti-supplementation, minerals. They don't take any probiotics or anything. It's just about carbs. In fact, there's even a lot of doctors out there that have famous books right now, like The Starch Solution and stuff like that, that are, that these people are standing behind. So my question with my comments is it possible to be a vegan successfully?
Absolutely. I mean, anything is possible. From my experience, 10 years working at probably the biggest health food store in the world behind the tonic bar, many customers coming in and asking, should I be vegan? Should I be raw? Should I eat cooked? Should I eat animal food? Should I do this? Should I do that? And, when I started, I didn't know the answers to everything. I had some years of experience with the body ecology diet system. It worked great for me, and I knew quite a lot about carbohydrates and sugar at that point, going back even 10, 15, 20 years ago, because I had systemic infections because of antibiotic overuse, and that contributed to candida and fungal infection to the point where it was potentially fatal, and Epstein-Barr too, out of control. So everyone has a different co-infection load. And this is the most important reason to maybe adopt partway into a ketogenic diet or a paleo diet or a low carbohydrate diet, is if you know your immune history. Everyone's immune history is different. Some people haven't took much antibiotics. They have a great immune system. They have a very low infection load. Some people were born with infections from their mom, and they have to be on a low carb diet for life to really be at optimum all the time. It's very different for each person. And it can change based on lifestyle, what you're going through, what you're exposed to, what's affecting your immune system. But for 10 years of experience behind the tonic bar, I will say that a larger proportion of the average people, average citizens, who hear about diet changes, first off, I want to commend anyone who's making any effort to do any kind of diet that is not the standard process, West food, civilized processed Western death food diet. You know what I mean? Anyone who's getting off of food industry food, anyone who's adopting any kind of whole food, healthier diet, less processed food, that's a huge thing you're doing to embark on that. It's going to unlock you from a lot of things and set you free health-wise and prevent diseases. And health can be obtained with a lot of different diets. Like there's a lot of different vitamins, A through H. There's a lot of different diets, and each one has its strong points and its weak points. And certain people will do better on this one or that one. And at certain times of their life, they may change and do better on this diet or that diet. And depending on the goals they have, are they really interested in their spirituality? Or they really just want to, get strong because they're going to be a linesman and be a football player? You're going to want a different diet. It depends on your lifestyle preferences. But from the large amount of people that I've worked with over years, I mean, we had 300 people a day coming through Erewhon, and probably 1/10 to 1/4 of those people, up to 1/3 sometimes, were coming to the tonic bar. And I was kind of running the show. And I will, because I didn't know all the answers. I observed my customers. I gave the best advice I could. I continued to practice. I spent 4 years vegan raw plant food diet. Combined with BED, that means low sugar or ketosis, like no fruit. And I made a mistake. I did too much oxalates. I've done every diet for several years in order to try to learn the best answers.
A lot of people
each diet
can't be ketonic and be vegan. So
ketosis. No, you can do a ketogenic diet and a vegan diet at the same time. In fact, that's really smart. That's kind of what Dr. Gabriel Cousens does. He does a raw plant food diet, no animal foods, because he, from his Indian training and blah, 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 believes that's toxic, and he's correct in many senses, but maybe not all. But that's what he did, and it's very successful. You get on a raw diet, you get enzymes. You get on a plant food diet, you detox. Okay? But Dr. Michael Greger, for instance, is a very good person who's a doctor who's become a mainstream health advocate, kind of like Dr. McCullough. He's out there and reaching a lot of people. #1 best-selling book called How Not to Die. Okay? And all he does is take standard American eaters, the SAD, the SAD diet, who've been doing that their whole life, and put them on a plant food diet. He doesn't necessarily emphasize raw, but if I would say more raw and more plant food, that average person that's been eating McDonald's or processed food or whatever for their whole life, they are going to detox. Their blood is going to get thin, the clots go down, the cardiovascular diseases changes, and all of these things, and they get their health back, and they lose weight, and the prediabetes or the diabetes usually reverses. And it's a no-brainer. It's pretty easy just to adopt a plant food diet. If you make it more raw, even way better because of all the enzymes. But there is always an exception. A person with a lot of dysbiosis bacterial infections in the gut, a long time. If they try to eat raw plant food, even if they wash everything for their salad, when they're done eating, they're going to bloat. Their stomach swells up like a balloon. Like, what's wrong with me? You have too much bad bacteria in your gut. There's a tiny bit of germs even on raw plant food, and you can't handle it. It's just short term, so you have to do cooked food and steamed veggies and broths and soups, and you have to change the microbiome. You have to detox all the systemic co-infections, especially in the gut, build up the good bacteria, build up the immune system, strengthen the spleen and stomach intestines as you clean it, and then start to add back in raw food, and then you'll be fine. It can take longer or shorter for other people, but so yes, the plant food diet is important. Plants are very cleansing and very healing. They have the water, they have the antioxidants, they have the raw factors, they have the enzymes, but my experience is, I would say 60 to 75% of the average consumers of the public who just try to learn the basics to adopt a vegan diet or a raw diet or a plant food diet, they tend to fail in longer periods of time. And sometimes it's because their lifestyle and their blood type, they might need just a little bit of animal protein, a little bit of B vitamins and carnosine and omega-3s. They might just need that little bit to deal with the stress, especially if they live a city life. But oftentimes, it's because they don't know enough about nutrition.
Could you hit on that blood type thing, just for clarity?
The blood type O's are about half the population, and they're go-getters. They work hard. They're hustlers. They have a very overactive digestive systems and immune systems, and they're strong. It's the old blood type theory. They were originally hunter-gatherers. They were not cultivators that lived off grains on farms. Those are newer blood types like the AABs. So the blood type O's, especially from my experience, if that blood type O is living in a big city like Los Angeles, like where I was, and he's a fairly young person, he or she, so they've got goals. They're working hard in their life. They want to make things happen. So their life is stressful. When they go vegan, they might do okay for a while, but they start to crash. They start to get like adrenal exhaustion from the lack of protein because their adrenals are working hard because they're living a stressful lifestyle and they have that overactive immune system. And also, if they're younger, you need more protein to build a body when you're young. Okay, there are exceptions. If you have vegan parents that are super good at it and they've known how to detox to get rid of all the underlying root causes of health problems, and then they know how to do a very nutritious vegan diet, and if they get food from the farmer's market instead of whole foods, it's lower in glyphosate, it's higher in nutrition. If they have a garden, they grow their own food, they can be even a better vegan. And they can be settled down, a mother and father very healthy as vegans, and then they can have a family. And they can have children that are vegans. Like River Phoenix, for instance, I'm thinking of, okay. And he was totally vegan his whole life growing up, and he developed a very healthy body. Okay, didn't have an issue with protein, didn't have an issue with, that's an example of a successful vegan. So there are people that can do it. But there are people who are not born and raised from vegan parents. Okay. They're a blood type O, maybe, and maybe they're a young person, they're still developing. They need some protein. I'm more cautious about recommending a 100% vegan diet for a person who's a teenager or a child, or even a young person in their 20s who has a highly active lifestyle. They're working out, they have a stressful job, they live in a city. The extra protein does ground them. It does keep them stronger. Okay? But they have to understand that protein is a very concentrated food. It's very concentrated. It's not just, it's food, so eat what you want when you want. You can get addicted to any food. You eat too much, and you get toxic, you build up, and you're used to the stimulatory aspect of meat, so you eat more to keep you going because you're living a stressful lifestyle. And if you get too used to eating all that meat, it's going to be a time bomb. That means something in time is going to blow up. And one day you just keel over from a heart attack because you're too young. Meat is young, it's contracting, so it makes your blood pressure go up, it clogs up your bowels, it makes you go to the bathroom less often, and you have to push harder to go to the bathroom. It makes you feel strong, you have all this protein, all this excess protein tells the body to build, it's anabolic, grow, and it makes you strong. But if you're always in growth mode with too much protein, it's going to shorten your lifespan. You have too many hormones. Okay, so there's a balance. The older you get each decade, you need less meat. The body's not trying to grow. Excuse me. Some of that black sesame seed tahini is cutting my throat. It does that.
Perfect. Perfect, and this is just
a little DDW water. Borosilicate last. So each decade, as you get older, the body's not as concerned with growth. It's not young anymore. You're not trying to build and get all buff and plump. The body is interested in preservation, maintenance, for longevity. Okay? That's when having slightly low T3, being a tiny bit cold, because you don't overstimulate your thyroid. Animals with low T3 live longer. That's when eating less food makes you live longer.
What is T3?
Thyroid hormone, thyroxine. So people that are mildly hypothyroid, slightly low thyroids, slightly cold temperature, slightly slim, slightly underweight, they eat less food, they're not super warm. Those people will live longer. Okay? So there's two, if you can go for part of the day for hours hungry, okay, you're doing intermittent fasting, you're eating 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day. Maybe even you're practicing calorie restriction, you don't eat too much food. Okay, and you're done eating hours. You're done eating at 6 p.m. and you go to bed at 10 or 11. Okay, so you go to bed very empty. Even though you're getting a little hungry towards that late evening, you can have a tea or something, but when you're practicing calorie restriction, you're turning on the sirtuin genes. Okay, this is highly scientifically researched and studied. We know that mammals live longer. We give them less calories. You're not in a state of anabolic growth, though. You're in a state of longevity and preservation, but it definitely, if you look at that mammal or track that human being each decade, you see these people in the calorie restriction clubs. Okay, they're kind of like nerds that are into eating less food, and they count their calories, whether they're doing 700, 1,000 calories a day or whatever. They measure their food, and they're in a club where their husband and wife do it together. And they do it over long periods of time, 10 years, 20 years. Some people think it's a little boring, but they're slim. These people may be a little bit on the skinny side, according to the Matrix viewpoint, because the Matrix is used to judging everybody overweight, slightly edema, slightly puffy, slightly inflamed, about 10, 15 pounds over our healthy body weight is what society considers in our consciousness healthy appearance of a human being. Okay, people that practice calorie restriction, they look slimmer than normal. But if you track them each decade, as they're getting older, they're into their 60s, they should be looking older by now. They don't look that much older. They're slim, they have no prediabetes, they have no disease markers, they have great cardiovascular health, they have all their faculties, their mind is good, their memory is good, they have no pain, they can walk, hike, exercise, do a lot of things. They don't have massive bursts of energy, so I wouldn't do that diet if I was going to be a football player, you know. But they have enough energy, but they're slowing things down and preserving the body, okay? And a vegan plant food diet is a very good detoxification and preservation diet. And it also keeps the spirit, and the temple's clean, the spirit's, the shen is cleaner. And there's a balance for all things. You can add in a little bit of supplements or herbs or foods that have an anabolic effect. Once in a while, you can cycle them into a vegan raw plant food diet. But then you can't technically say that I'm 100% vegan. Some people want to be 100% vegan because of principle. They feel for animals. They don't want the energy of death in their body. Maybe it's a religion. Whatever it is, there's different reasons people do diet changes. There's a lot of things we can do to the diet. A lot of different diets. And new ones are being created all the time as trends with new changes. Let's just cut out lectins, and now we'll call it the Gundy diet. Or let's just do this, and we'll call it that diet. So more and more diets get made up with labels, and they're marketed. Because health is a scam, it's a marketing thing. You know, one reason I don't do affiliate programs, I don't make money off any products I recommend, is because I was told this once, and it really resonates with me, is that once you start making money off the information you share to the public, you lost the First Amendment of free speech, because now you're a salesman, now you're a businessman. And I've never been a salesman, I've never been a businessman, I'm not good at it anyways. I've been an artist. And so I'm more interested in being a pastor for Jing, a preacher for health, or a teacher, an advisor with compassion and truth and knowledge to generally help people and give real advice. I know what it's like to go sit for long periods of time, looking for answers and not knowing. I got lucky. Took me a while, but I stumbled across some real gems that got me out of bed, completely saved my life. Then I got interested in this as a hobby, kept going. Got to the level of multidimensional health, reverse aging, and enhanced spiritual function and everything else in between. So then I just realized that this knowledge, this is health alchemy. I should have been doing this my whole life. I should have learned this when I was 15 years old, all this stuff, but nobody taught me this in public school. My mom, my parents knew a few things because they were hippies. But this is all knowledge to educate ourselves. But most consumers, most people that go on the internet and use Google, and they're trying to self-diagnose themselves, be their own nutritionist. What diet should I follow? What supplements should I take? You know, they're really not qualified to do it. It's great that they're starting. It's great that they're thinking, that they're learning the basics. Common things have been thrown around for so long that everybody sort of knows that diet and exercise is good for you. And eating less animal food is good for you. Almost everybody knows that. Okay. But there's a lot of details. You can't just do that. Say, I'm going to eat less animal food and I'm going to improve my diet, maybe eat more salads, and I'm going to exercise. That's a good start. If you were, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and drinking vodka and going to McDonald's and not sitting on the couch watching TV all the time, that's a great start. Break the TV addiction too, even more receptors free. But there's a lot of information in between. And with the internet, we can get very detailed into commerce, into selling things. So health experts and nutritionists or hobbyists or business people, whatever, can create all kinds of labels for different diets and start fads and write books and do YouTube channels. And if their information is convincing or if they're passionate, a lot of average customers can get caught up in it. And it could be good changes. It could be not necessarily right for that person. Or it could be just showing some information from one side and just ignoring a whole bunch of others to help sell whatever they're selling.
And sometimes if you're a good speaker, you can sell anything.
Yeah. And a lot of people, because they have food PTSD, they have food trauma, they are born and raised into the food industry off processed food. The wildness of the animal that uses intuition, that knows what to eat, they've never had it. Never. They don't know what to do. So they're lost. But they do know they want to improve their body. And they do believe that what I eat matters. I am what I eat. Everyone knows this statement. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Let food be your Jing and Jing be thy food is one of my favorites. But So most people know that if I learn something about how to improve my diet, it's got to make some difference. And yes, it's true. This is true. Detoxification is the #1 thing, and people throw that term around a lot. I'm going to do a colon cleanse, or it's New Year's. I want to lose some weight and start a New Year's resolution, or I'm going to do a detox. There is so much deep, detailed information, from old school folk remedies to high technology and nano supplements and that all aid in detoxification. Most people today who start to embark on detoxification could use a lot of education to learn about what's out there that they really need to detox from. How do I detox from mold, from EMS, from glyphosate? How do I detox from nanoparticulates? How do I detox from nanoaluminum? How do I detox from heavy metals? How do I detox from systemic co-infections? And it's a different program, maybe slightly, if it's mold, or if it's Lyme spirochete, or if it's candiditis, or if it's not systemic candiditis, it's just in the gut, or if it's systemic candiditis and that's the whole body, it's a lot harder. Or is it parasites? What type of parasites? Are they little ones that are inside the cells, getting in my brain, making me crazy? Or is it they're just big worms, like spaghetti, and I gotta flush them out? It's a different protocol. There are different cleansing tools for each one. There's high-tech cleansing protocols, like, noble gas microcurrent Tesla coil machines that you put on the colon before or during a colonic, and you can just get rid of balls of spaghetti worth of worms. Or there could be old school protocols, black walnut wormwood, and a zapper like Hulda Clark used, But, so there's a lot of nuances. It gets intricate. It's complicated. But it's fascinating and it's interesting. Most people that have a job and have a life in the matrix might not have time to learn all this stuff. So they're like a walking Ouija board. They go on YouTube or Google and just type a few things. Whatever they hit on strikes a chord. It's interesting. So now I'm off on this tangent. I'm going to do this diet or that diet. And they're fads. They're trends. Just like different fashion. Bell bottoms are in style. Now they're not. It's the same with diet fads. And I see them come and go like crazy. And so but I advise people, any change is great, and start and do something. But be a perpetual student. And constantly ask questions and think for yourself. Learn something. It's philosophy, it's conjecture, but it might be true. You listen to it, and then try it on your body and feel what happens. And take that information and then tweak it again and keep learning more. Your whole life you're going to be doing this. And the older you get, or the more ill health or lack of health or health challenges or diseases you start to acquire, or aging in general, which is a sign that my body function and vitality and youth and health is dropping, so I might not be able to accomplish all the dreams I've had since youth. Now, that's another reason for people to want to get into their health. You're really going to care about your health when you get older, or you have pain, or you're suffering, or you get a later pathology of a disease that might threaten your life, and you don't want to leave this plant body yet, this lifetime. And you get scared, and you wake up fast, and you get serious. Most people, from my experience, 10 years at a tonic bar, working in the public, a lot of people don't make any effort to change their health until they get sick. It starts with cold or flus. Then they come. Then they listen. Then they might want to make some diet changes, cut down their sugar, take some vitamin C, take some reishi, help their immune system, some black elderberry, make them a cold and flu formula tea. They get better. If you heal them too quick and easy, they'll go right back to their old ways. And they'll eat shit food again, and they'll keep going until something breaks down. And then they pay attention. It's just like your car. You'll keep driving it until it runs out of oil or something. So knowledge beforehand is key. When you get chronic diseases when you're older, or you're starting to lose your youth, you suddenly one day wake up and realize my hair is falling out, or I'm going gray, or I'm losing my elasticity, or I'm losing my reproductive power that's part of my creative force in life. I'm losing my libido, I'm getting erectile dysfunction, or a woman that can't have babies and she feels like she's losing her maidenhood, she's losing her womanhood. She's young, but she's infertile because of metals and EMFs and glyphosate and GMOs. And these things can shock people into waking up and saying, I love this body. No, I won't accept that. I won't accept that. I'm going to detox. I'm going to learn about natural health. I'm going to learn about health alchemy. I'm going to learn about minerals and vitamins and detoxification and supplements and foods. And should it be raw, or should it be cooked, or should it be some of both? There's a yin and a yang. There's a dance. With Chinese herbalism, we don't just take one herb forever. There's a yin and a yang. We want some healer's tea and goji and hushu wu for yin. We want some durian and cordyceps and for yang. And some people want more of that yang and a little less of the yin, and some people want a lot more yin and just a little bit of that yang. But there's always a little yin within the yang, and that little black spot in the yin yang logo. So a vegan diet is a yin diet, vegan plant food diet. So some vegans who are not concerned about the label saying I'm 100% vegan, that doesn't matter to them. They want the maximum health for them. A large percentage of vegans, from my experience, if they would use 5% of animal foods once in a while and look at that animal food as a supplement. It's a supplement. Just give me a little bit of that blended liver, make a pate dip for celery sticks, and I have it once every 3 months. So I don't have to be worried about this B vitamin neurological deficiency that can happen. Today our food is so nutrient deficient that if you break outside the boundary of one diet boundary and add in a few special things for the scientific nutritional purpose of staying healthy, strong, and balanced to fulfill your mission in this life, then that's smart. But I will tell you, if one chooses, I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, if one wants to be 100% raw vegan, if I just said, one day I woke up and I said, that's it, I've had it, I don't like the way they're treating animals, I'm going to be a spokesman for a 100% vegan raw plant food diet. I could do it. I couldn't have done it 10 years ago when I tried. I failed miserably. I ended up with osteoporosis after 3-4 years, losing bone density so badly, hormones low, weak. I thought, gee, I started a vegan raw plant food diet. I went 3-4 years because I wanted to live long and not age, chiefly. And I do look young on that vegan diet. I was very slim, very light, flexible. But I noticed from my physical demanding job in the city every day, I'm operating out of my spirit. My spirit's pulling me up to keep me going all day working. But my core, my physical body, my adrenals, they're like a woman. They're fainting away. It's nothing, like an old woman. It's like you could blow and I'll fall over. I felt light, weak, ungrounded. On my weekends, I had to go home and sleep all weekend to try to get some gym, some strength back. Because I was a blood type O. I was still living a high stressful lifestyle. I was on a vegan raw plant food diet and I made one mistake. I was doing all high oxalic acid greens in my raw vegan plant food diet for 3-4 years. That means I ate massive salads. That's all I lived on. And they were based half on dinosaur kale, or Canto kale, because that was the highest vegan protein plant food, and the other half mustard greens. Because Gary Knoll said mustard greens are the best and they can regenerate nerves or whatever. So I'm chewing on these hot, spicy greens, this dark kale, like a goat every day for years, massive salads. And I made good salads, avocados, pine dust flakes, and great dressings, and I loved them. And I ate this way, and I felt very spiritual when I ate my food. Every time I ate my raw plant food salad, I felt like it was a meditation. I would prepare my food, I'd wait till it was a calm face of the day, I'd sit down cross-legged somewhere, maybe out in nature, sit upright, take my food, prepare it carefully, it's like a meditation, look at it, all that beautiful plant food, that aura coming off it, you can feel it. Sit down and I eat it. I love that pure aspect of the raw plant food diet. That's why still to this day, I'm at 90%, 80 to 95% of what I'm eating, depending on the season, is raw plant food, it's salads. But I do not eat oxalic acids salads anymore. I don't eat spinach or kale or those things. Could have it once in a great while, but I do the non-oxalic acid greens, which is going to be my...
Because they deplete minerals, or they...
The oxalates make crystals that can get stuck in the kidneys and make kidney stones. They block and confuse minerals. So calcium uptake, osteoblast activity, building bone doesn't happen. Okay, so if I would have only ate mustard greens and kale one day a week, and would have ate romaine lettuce, red leaf lettuce, bok choy, cilantro, arugula the other days of the week, I wouldn't have probably gone into osteoporosis. But I also didn't know enough about nutrition. We always think we know everything, and there's so much more to learn. And I was in my mid-30s that time, and I was working in the biggest health food store in the world, and I'd done a lot of diets and read a lot of books. I devoted my life to it the last 5 years. I thought I knew it all. I thought I can. Maybe other people can't do a vegan diet. They're going to suffer malnutrition, basically, because they don't know enough about health. But I thought, that's just them. I thought, I have the tonic herbs, and I have my 5 Rights Yoga, and I have a unipolar magnet bed, and I know a lot about nutrition. So I didn't take any animal herbs either. I wouldn't take deer antler or ant or placenta. I just took the plant food herbs, and I took plant supplements, and it was a righteous experiment to be completely off of animal plant foods. That's how I felt in my spirit, my soul at the time. I wanted to do it for the purity reason. I wanted to be pure. I didn't want the energy of any animal foods in my body. So, but I made some mistakes because I didn't know enough about nutrition. I didn't know enough about food. I didn't know about MSG foods, like the salad dressings I was making in the old days, the green dragon dressing with tons of namashoya with natural form of MSG. You do that all your life, you're going to end up with a little ALS or MS or something. You know. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about oxalic acids. I didn't know about other whole food vitamins. There's great whole food vitamins today from certain companies. They're hard to find because there's it's the whole supplement industry is sort of swarmed or masked or dominated by some big mainstream supplement company names that are owned by big pharma. And you don't want those. You don't want the nanoparticulate. You don't want the fillers. And you want to know the source. But there are good companies still. There are great vitamins and supplements. There are great minerals. There are great herbs. You got to understand every human being needs 60 minerals a day to have good health. And people are getting 4 or 5 from organic food, even on a vegan diet. 4 or 5 that's put back in the soil because they don't grow their own food. They don't have a wild garden. I mean, they live in the world. They have to buy food that other people make. And our topsoil is depleted. There's no minerals in that food. So how are you going to get those 90 minerals a day, 60 minerals a day minimum you need for great health?
Supplementation.
Well, you're going to have to be a bit of an alchemist. Some people say, I'm really good at being a raw vegan. I love the principle. It's like a church. I joined a church and I'm a raw vegan. And it is something to be proud about because you're putting less of a footprint on the animal kingdom, and if you switch from a junk food standard American diet to a raw plant food vegan, I mean, in a matter of months, save your life of someone who could be in danger of heart disease or strokes or the top 5 causes of death, the C word, and diabetes and blah, blah, blah. But to do it forever on that diet, just say I'm a vegan diet, so all I have to do is not eat meat. Okay, there's a lot you're going to miss today in our depleted nutrients of our food. There's a lot you're going to miss. You're not going to get those minerals. So you're going to have to kind of expand your hobby of being a raw vegan to also being a supplement alchemist, where you get into boutique supplements. If you just add Shilajit, there's 90 minerals right there. If you get a black Shilajit, high Himalayan resin, and you put that in a tea every other day. If you just added a cheaper thing, maybe Eco-Pure Coral Calcium. Okay, it's vegan. And there's a lot of inorganic minerals. It's hard, it's heavy, somewhat rocks in there, so maybe you don't want to do it forever, but it is a cheap way to get a lot of minerals. There's a ton of minerals in a good coral calcium supplement. Or glacial milk, that's a little more exotic from ancient tech. That comes from the white silk milk of those big heavy glaciers pushing on high mineral mountains like up in the Himalayas, like where the Huns of people lived, that lived so long, 140, and their produce was so incredible in their gardens because they watered their garden with glacial milk water. But you can buy glacial milk. You can just drink it, mix it in water, you can do mouth shots with it, and that's got 90, 100, 110 minerals in it. You can blend up kelp, like I make my seaweed soups. I have slanted kelp, and I soak 1/3 of a package, cut it up in hot water till it's thick, put it in the blender with a little bit of miso and some other macrobiotic recipes, and blend it up into a pudding. And you eat this mineral pudding warm.
And it tastes good.
Oh, calming, grounding, recharges the yin battery.
Amazing recipe.
Knockout Addison's is amazing for the adrenals, but you're getting those minerals. Or just get dulse flakes, kelp flakes, and sprinkle it on your salads, on your food. You're getting a little. Transdermal magnesium oil or baths. 1 day a week, you throw 4 pounds of magnesium chloride bath flakes into a bathtub. Use a shower filter in the shower hose so you can reduce some of the chlorine to fill that in, especially if you're a woman, because you don't want chlorine going in your vagina. But clean water, warm water, throw in 4 pounds of magnesium flakes, dissolve it, try to stay in there for an hour. Ah, so calming, anabolic, magnesium, all those trace minerals. 96, 92 plus ocean trace minerals that are natural. We're made up with the colloidal mineral structure of the foods that we eat in our body. That mineral bank account that you build throughout your life is part of your gene. And try not to do extreme things that deplete those minerals, because it takes time to build those minerals, to build up strength and mineralize the body. If you go overboard on farm-fed saunas or flushes or something that gives you diarrhea or sweat lodges, you could deplete those minerals too far, too much. And they take a long time to build back up again unless you can take all of those mineral-rich superfoods, Shilajit, blended kelp, transdermal mag oil, Eco-Pure Coral Calcium, glacial milk, and pearl powder. That's the last one. Pearl powder. Pearl Sium, the best form of pearl powder. Or dragon herbs. The pearl powder capsules have calcium stearate and the toxic filler you don't want, but dragon herbs also sells pearl powder. It's in a bag, no filler, not in the capsules. That's a pretty good product too. It's a high grade. The higher the grade the pearl, the finer. The finer it is, the less inorganic minerals. Those are rocks. You don't want them. They build up in the little arteries in the brain when you get older and cause a problem. You want the organic minerals. And if you're in doubt, now if you had your own garden, you could throw pearl powder glacial milk, rock flour, blended up seaweed, some mushrooms. You could throw it all in, mix it up, make the most incredible soil, grow plants in that and eat it. Your plants will have ormus. And now you don't have to mineralize. You could be a raw plant food vegan with no supplements at all if you grew a garden like that, but very few can do that or have the knowledge. So to answer your question, a large percentage of average people today in the modern world are going to have nutritional challenges if they're going to be vegan. If they want to be a successful vegan long term, they better study nutrition. They better study supplements. They better open their mind to exotic boutique supplements that have the minerals, that have the DHA in it, okay? And have some B vitamins in them, or get a whole food B vitamin supplement and amino acids. You know, if you're going to do no animal protein, you could take an amino acid supplement that doesn't harm the kidneys, like MAP or Myamino, because they're pre-digested raw. They have no nitrogen toxicity to the kidneys. You could be on dialysis and you can take MAP amino acids or Myamino. They won't hurt your kidneys. Protein is concentrated food. Too much will wear down your kidneys, shorten your life. Okay, your kidneys are the root of your being, your life. They're so important. You do not want to ever end up on dialysis. You want to generate heat and massage the kidneys. You want to take kidney-ging herbs like Ushu, and you want to be very careful with protein intake. If you do eat animal protein, you have to respect it. It's a very heavy, concentrated, powerful food. You need a small amount. When you're young, anabolic, and growing, you need a bit more. Each decade as you get older, you can get away with less. But all your life, you might need a little bit. If you're going to supplement with amino acids, on a long-term level, regular free-form man-made amino acids hammer the kidneys. They're hard on them. They're worse than eating animal food in that sense. But if you can bypass that and go to the pre-digested raw amino acids like myamino or MAP amino acids, you can take those absolutely safe with no nitrogen toxicity. They're the only animal protein products that do not put strain or burden on the kidneys. If you take too much animal protein and too many regular amino acids, you're going to weaken your gene. You feel strong in the beginning, it's all that protein, but your kidneys have to keep processing it. If you want to live long and be strong, it's not going to work because you're going to wear the kidneys down when you get older. And then,
So we're at over 35 minutes, so let's just get a final statement, and let me say that, like, so basically, you need to, like, be super aware of everything out there, minerals and everything. You're not going to make it on pasta, bread, rice, and soy. And being a vegan for 12 years kind of doesn't mean anything. Like a person, like, especially I've noticed that people with brown skin tend to be able to get away with stuff for whatever reason, I don't know, but like 12 years of being successful on pasta, bread, rice, and soy kind of doesn't say anything, especially if you haven't hit that, age 40, 45, where everything just starts spiraling.
You know, in the Roman days, they ate millet, a lot of it, and but they had wild strains, and they didn't have the other processed foods, and they didn't have the EMFs, and they didn't have a lot of other things going on, and they were pretty strong. Lots of millet, lots of garlic cooked in leeks, and so there's many ways to do different diets and be healthy, but you can't just jump on a bandwagon real quick. Most average consumers that make their own dietary advice for how to live, I hate to say it, but they're ill-equipped to do that. They're not actually qualified to go on Google and just search diets or watch random YouTube videos and then say, oh, I'm going to be this diet. They're trying to be their own nutritionist, like their own doctor. It's like going into a pharmacy and you're not a doctor and saying, I think I have a problem, so I'm going to grab a bottle of pills. That one's got a long name on it with a bunch of chemicals. I think that one will be good for me, and they just take it. That's a crapshoot. You have no idea what you're doing. The average person is not educated enough. I thought I knew what I was doing years ago. The truth is it takes 20 years of studying nutrition and detoxification and learning about the human body and health before you can actually start to get qualified enough that you can really self-diagnose and self-prescribe vitamins, supplements, nutrients, and diet advice.
And you need to do that because you need to address your own uniqueness. Yes?
Yeah. The principle of uniqueness is one principle in the body called your diet. And depending on your lifestyle goals, if you're retired, you're going to want to adopt a slightly different diet. If you have a very high demand physical activity, different diet. If you live in the city, different diet. If you live out in nature and you have a slow, simple life, different diet. If you're male, female, if you're premenopause or postmenopause, different diet. If you're in your 20s and you're trying to grow a lot, you're working out a lot, different diet. Different aspects of different diets. the word diet is limiting because it makes people think of a cubbyhole. It makes people think of being in a box. A diet means just this one thing. It's way fine-tuned like that. It's like code, like algorithm, like writing a new program. You have to pick pieces from this diet and a little bit of foods or recipes from that diet. You have to pick supplements from here and supplements from here. A lot of people don't know about the real underground great whole food companies that are out there that make great supplements. They're buying USP, man-made, United States pharmacopoeia synthetic vitamins all made in one big warehouse. They're like soft drugs. They have nanoparticulates in them and toxic fillers, up to 40%. They're taking these things, they're going to do more harm than good. But they look good on the shelf at Whole Foods or, in the salespeople, they can drop science about what vitamins do. And sometimes, even a synthetic vitamin for short-term use, there's a purpose for it. It can knock out a cold with a mass dose of vitamin C. But if you keep taking vitamin C, you're going to get anemic. This is leaching copper and zinc and iron out because the vitamin C is just a shell. Ascorbic acid or sodium ascorbate and lipospheric vitamin C, it's just an empty shell. There's no protein chaperones, there's no cofactors, there's no copper inside that molecule to make collagen like vitamin C is supposed to when you get whole food botanical vitamin C. Like these here, okay, the camus that are really good. I like this one the most, but they're both good.
No, put the label this way for the one you like the best.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no maltodextrin in this one.
And we're coming.
This is a great company.
We're coming to 40 minutes, so I don't want to not be able to upload this in its entirety.
Okay, I could talk forever. I'm sorry, but
no, sorry, you're perfect. Thanks.
I hope that answers the question about the vegan thing.
Yep.
Different trends come and go, but the vegan, it's an important diet. It's important that most people in the modern world with the food we're eating today, that they start eating. They don't have to be 100% vegan, but they start eating more plant food. And more raw, the better. The easiest thing is just more salads. Then the next thing is using the Vitamix and putting all the produce in there and mashing it up with the tamper and making a raw blended soup like we did the other day when we filmed it. And then the next thing is buy a juicer. Learn how to make juice. Cucumbers, celery is the base. A little bit of ginger, root, and some lemon with the peel. That's simple. That's the truth juice, the keto truth juice. Simple and delicious. You learn to make a juice, you learn to make a raw blended soup, and you learn to make salads. And start putting them more into your diet and cut back on the processed food and the cooked meat. And that'll save your life. That'll extend your life.
Cool. Let's say goodbye.